All right, let's get started here. So my name is Dave Marzinke with Movement Mortgage. This is our Agent Marketing Academy. It's a class we do every other week with the board, and we go over different topics, that relate to building your business as a real estate agent. And today we have some great information here that has been put together by how to find more sellers in a low inventory market. So these are just tips and best practices that we've picked up with, individuals that we work with and that we've talked to around the country. And so we want to share that information with you, and hopefully you guys find value in that, and we'll go from there. So we want to make this interactive as possible. So you guys, we set it up so that you guys can see the camera, I can see you. So if you have a question, unmute yourself and pop right in. We can answer those questions face to face or, through Zoom, or if you want to, you can put it in the chat window as well. So that way we'll be monitoring that. So that way you can answer those questions via chat too. So, all right, well, let's get started. Okay, as I mentioned, Dave Marzinke Lending Team. These are the states that we service in: California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and Florida. All right, so today we're going to be going over just some basic stats on where listings are generated from, what top producers reveal that's working right now, how to find more sellers in areas that a lot of agents overlook. And then we're going to go give you 10 tips on ways to get more listings immediately. And then we'll wrap up from there. So let's get started here. Where do listings come from, or sellers come from? This is according to NAR, survey that was done in 2020. So 66% sellers found their agent via previous transaction or referrals. So it's all just, sphere of influence, word of mouth, all the ways to get connected through that. 75% of those agents surveyed, age 30 through 39, most likely will seek out a referral. So having a strong network, getting introduced to the right people, getting referrals is still the number one way to get a source for listings. And out of those surveyed, 16% found that they got listings from cold calling, 18% from print ads, 26% from buying leads, 33% from online ads, 44% from just organically posting on social media, and then 83% of those surveyed said that their primary source is through referrals. So as you can see that, that's still the number one way generating your sphere of influence. So the first place that we want to generate more listings from is our sphere of influence. So anybody listed a home recently from your sphere of influence that either past clients or referral from past clients? This is the part where we're interactive. All right, well, hopefully you have, but there's a tip from an agent that we've spoken to by a guy by the name of Jimmy Burgess, Berkshire Hathaway out in Florida. And he came up with this strategy that he put together targeting his sphere of influence, and he generated over $11 million in listings in 90 days. And so I want to take you guys through that just so you guys can maybe implement this if you haven't already. So what he did is he went through his database and identified past clients and prospects who either sold a home to as a buyer's agent, or they were a seller and they bought a different home, but they had to own a home, and he had all their contact information. They knew who he was. He had a relationship at some level with them. And so what he decided to do is do a CMA per day over a 90-day period. And sent those out unsolicited to those people in his database. And so obviously the main things that you need for that CMA is obviously people, past clients, somebody who's an actual homeowner that has a relationship with you. You all have access to the MLS. 3, screen recorders. So if you don't have a screen recorder, there's a great tool called with BombBomb. It's a video email service, but they also allow you to record your screen and do a video that way, so you can use multiple different media outlets and send that to the client and have them watch the video. So Zoom is another source for that, or Canva is a resource for you as well. And then Google Earth, which is a free resource for you. And so I want to show you this video of what he did, let him explain it in his own words, and so that way you guys can take a look at this yourself. So hold on one second.
I'm going to show you basically the couple of things that I tied into. I used Google Earth on this. The reason I liked Google Earth is if I'll start this, you'll kind of see it begins to rotate. There's this 2D portion here. You'll see when I click the 2D portion, it flattens out on top of it, makes it look super high tech. The other tab that I had pulled up was the tab for the sales and the comparable active pending solds for the condo that I was doing. This example was a past client of mine in Adagio. So this will give you an idea of Adagio condos. I'm going to just let this play so you can kind of see this, and I'll stop it to talk about it as we go through.
Hey, Carrie, it's Jimmy Burgess with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services down at the beach. Just want to check in with you guys.
So notice how this is kind of moving and rotating right here. I'm just reaching out to them. This is the condos. You'll see how I show them the condos, and then I push the flatten out button with the 2D. Just push this 2D button, now 3D button. So I'm showing them. It gives me the ability to really show them visually what we're looking at. They can also see me, which gives that connection there. And then I'm going to just fast forward a little bit to show you kind of what I go to next. The next thing that I go to is that I pull up the comparables. And now I'm just going to walk through. You don't have to remember the comparables. I'm just going to go through and talk about the sales prices, the averages of what things are, give a range of value. And then at the end, what I do, and I just kind of go through these, at the end, then what I do is I just simply.
All right, so that's a brief synopsis of what the video is, but this is him recording this on BombBomb. So has a little circle of his face right there. So he has that connection with the clients when they open up and watch the video. And then he records that information and gives them that CMA over recording. And then sends that off to them. So pretty brilliant from what I
say. I hope this is valuable to you. And I want to make sure that you know that I'm here if I can ever help in any way. If you guys are thinking about possibly selling, let me know, and I'll be glad to get you a more distinct value just by doing a quick walkthrough of your place. I did 72 of these. These are folks that I had talked to, that I had built a relationship with. Also, this is my building pipeline going forward with people, because I then put them on the calendar to do another one of these in 6 months.
So he has that system that follows up with them.
I'm going to show you basically the couple of things that I tied into. I used Google Earth on this. Reason I like Google.
All right, so bottom line, what's the ROI on this work that he did? So he sent out 72 unsolicited CMAs over a 90-day period, okay? He generated $11.2 million in listings from that. He ended up closing on 9.1 million, generated 227,000 in GCI over that 90-day period from that. So if you think about it, you know, just the return on investment from that is pretty phenomenal, okay? So it took him 30 minutes per CMA, so a total of 36 hours to generate that work. So his hourly rate on this, $6,319 ROI. And that's a pretty phenomenal work just from sitting down, going after past clients, sitting down and developing a plan and sending out that information and using technology to really have an impact and add value to the conversation. So instead of just sending a CMA as an attachment, he recorded that video, sent that out, and really generated a ton of impact for his business. So hopefully that gives some ideas to you guys on how to generate business out of your own book. So another method, of course, is obviously taking a look at for sale by owners. So it's a great way to generate listings for people who are trying to do it on their own. And statistically, nearly 70% of for sale by owners. Oops, hold on one second here. Yes, 70% of for sale by owners list their property with an agent after about 4 weeks on the market as a for sale by owner. So FSBOs can be a great source on that. So 2 top reasons people are selling without an agent are: 1, 41% of all FSBOs did want to pay commission. 2, 56% of all FSBOs sold the property to a relative or friend or a neighbor. So they feel less of a need for an agent because 56% of all FSBOs already had a buyer. But there's difficulties in selling those, right? So instead of calling with the same script that every other agent uses, why not offer a solution to their biggest challenge? So 12% preparing the home for sale, 10% understanding the paperwork, the whole contract itself, protecting themselves as a seller, and 3, making sure that they get the maximum amount of price for their listing. So we wanted to give you guys some scripts here, and we can send these slides out to you afterwards. So this is being recorded as well, so you can go back and watch it. But we put together some scripts here for you guys to share so that you guys can check this out. So, hi, this is so-and-so with so-and-so. You may not know me, but I've sold quite a few homes. And then just asking if the property is still available. I'm not sure this is for you, but would you be open for some helpful tips on how to prepare yourself for sale and understand the paperwork? So you're asking to bring value by be a resource for them. And then I'm in your area, love to stop by, take a look at a preview of the home. Right. Another one, how open-minded are you collaborating? So I can bring you some buyers. And then I'm in your area often, love to come by a couple minutes and preview the house. So it's definitely a way to stand out, because you're not just saying, hey, I can list this and get you maximum money. You're saying, hey, I can help you, be a resource for you, potentially even bring you a buyer, and then build that rapport and do what you do best at and make that connection. Another form of prospecting to generate listings in a low inventory market here is circle prospecting. So how many of you have heard of this term, circle prospecting? Love to see either verbally, you can answer, or answer in the chat window. All right, well, if you haven't heard of it, circle prospecting is one of the best ways. All right, thanks for sharing. It's one of the best ways to find a seller in an area around a particular listing that you already have. So circle prospecting is a lead generation strategy that relies on the premise that homeowners who live nearby your recently listed house or recently sold home will want to know more about it and possibly be more likely to sell. Okay. All right, so we have a hand raised by Sadika. So if you have a question, you can either type it in or you can come on and share it verbally.
No, I just meant I knew what circle prospecting
Oh, you've
was.
heard of that concept before. Have you had any success with it before? Have you tried it?
Well, I'm actually in the process of trying. I just got the contact info of my neighbors. So I'm going to be doing it this week.
Excellent. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. So the way we go about this is first of all, we're going to generate, a list of leads that are within a target neighborhood, right? So we're going to have our listing, we're going to target neighborhoods around that. Then we're going to say, these are for just listed or sold prospecting. And then you can get that information from a number of sources, ideally from your title rep that can help you out with that. Sadika, I don't know where you got your information, but I think that's probably how you got it. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. I did get it from the title people.
Yeah.
I mean, if I wanted just the mailing list, that I can get from RPR, but that's only regular US mail.
Yeah. No, but your title rep can help you and possibly even get emails and phone numbers for you as well.
Yes.
And that's what we want. All right. And then you just go about making phone calls out to those people that live around there. Right. So.
Well, that's the hard part. Calling is the hard part. Email is easy.
Well, we'll have another tip for you that you might want to check out here in a second, Sadika. So this is just a general script about, reaching out to people that are in that area around your just sold or around your just listed. So you can give your name, talk about the property that you just have in their neighborhood, and you're working to get it sold, and just asking if they know anybody who's looking to move into the area. All right. And then going on and asking them if they've ever considered buying or selling. So, and then here's a survey script that talks about this. So do you have any plans over the next 12 months? And just generating that information. Now, if you haven't heard of this, slide broadcast is a great way to maximize sending out a pre-recorded message so that you can actually reach maximum number of people without having to do all those dials yourself. And so basically what you do is you upload your data to their software, puts in the, all the phone numbers that you have. You do a pre-recorded message and it'll send it out as a ringless voicemail out to every single person out there. And so we had a case study here for you. So from Christina Griffin with the Griffin Group. And Oops, let me admit somebody here. Hold on. Thanks, Curtis, for joining us. Appreciate it. So, but she used Slide Broadcast. She sent out over 1,200 voicemail messages in a 2-mile radius around her new listing, and she received 175 return calls within 1 hour, right? So she used this ringless voicemail service, sent out 1,200 voicemail messages, got 175 return calls in that time frame. And this is just the basic message that she used, right? Basically, it's just saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. We just listed a house in your community. Would love to know if you know of anybody looking to move. Give us a call. She generated 2 new listings out of that and got 4 buyer closings out of that process. So this is definitely a method that definitely works. And, sorry? Nope, looks like somebody didn't have it on mute. Another strategy that you can think about for generating listings is contacting for rent by owners. All right, so these are people that are generating, trying to generate and rent their property on their own. So, all right, if you can, mute yourself, please, so that way we don't have any feedback on this. So RedX is a service that you can get this information from. So it has free for rent by owner services that will help you find non-owner occupied vacant properties, absentee owners. And basically you can go out and filter those leads. Another, obviously you can contact your title rep too, because they can get access to these same leads and generate that information for you. But these are vacant rental properties, non-owner occupied properties. And they're basically people that you want to go after that may have a need to sell because they're tired of being a landlord, tired of managing the property, want to get out. So, and these are the 3 types of absentee owners. You have owners that are, by default, they're looking to exit, get out, stop managing the property. Active investors who may want to take a look at doing a 1031 exchange, selling the property, going into a different one. Or those that are reluctant liquidators, they're nervous about it, would love to cash out, but don't know how to avoid the capital gains tax or not sure about it. And they need assurance from somebody that can guide them through the process. An example of this, Kevin Scroggin. So ended up getting a portfolio here totaling about 1.4 million. So just from doing cold calling on this. Cold calling for rent by owners. All right, we all know about social media. So anybody here having success on social media generating listings on their own? Feel free to chime in, or you can put it in the chat window if you are. There might be some creative ways that you haven't thought about yet, right? So we all know that there's those stories on Instagram. That's the most popular feature on Instagram and also Facebook. So you can create some different polls. That'd be a great way to potentially grab somebody who's actually looking. So Sadika says she does a lot on social media, but she hasn't gotten any listings yet. So another one is running home value ads. That's not new, but there might be a way to tie that in with doing the CMAs that we talked about earlier, right? So a lot of people offer CMAs. They have the link, they can generate that. So they just put the average home price in the headline, and then they can generate this, a drone photo or, a video that they use for their ad. And then they can click on here and get quote. So these are ads that can generate, a significant amount of leads that you have to go through, but it still can, get some good fish out of that net. Doing a Facebook Live in a neighborhood where you're basically talking about you as the local expert. So this is Cole Realty. They did a 1-minute video on this. We won't show the video, but something that they did where they just talked here about the neighborhood that they know and they do a lot of listings in. And they can just highlight yourself as a local expert. And then you use your retargeting strategy so that you can build your local audience and then send more information out to those people. Another method here is more focused on buyer activity. But if you haven't seen this, Redfin has what they call a migration report that you can Google and pick out different localities, and it'll show you who's moving into that area from outside the local market. So for example, here they did one for Austin, and it shows you that 27% of the buyers were coming from the Bay Area, and then 10% from Los Angeles and 7% from Seattle. So, and in that market, 55% of the buyers were already living in Austin, and then 44% were people from outside of Austin moving in. So basically, how do you use this information? You can use this tool to run a report, see if there's large concentrations of people leaving a particular area and coming in. And then you can use that to market and target those people. You can identify that source. You can create an ad talking about, putting information either on YouTube or Facebook and targeting those areas, saying moving from the Bay Area to Austin, here's what you need to know. And just providing good information as a resource so that they can prepare themselves to move in that area. Let me know if that makes sense or if it doesn't. So you can research hashtags on Instagram, moving to Austin, Austin real estate agent. You can create content on that, and then you can be that resource for them. So that's the strategy for Instagram. And then for YouTube, once again, it's just basically creating relevant content that people will provide information that people want to know about moving into a certain area. And then even if you don't think so, email is still a very effective way, if you do it properly, to drive listings from your past clients in your lead database. Problem with most emails is that they look the same, they're templated, they're impersonal, they offer little value. So the key is to make it relevant and personal, right? You don't want to just use the set it and forget it method. You just want to make it more authentic to who you are and actually engage people. So we have an agent that we talked to, Connie Carlson, and she decided to do a video talking about, the elephant in the room, right? So what's that elephant in the room? How will I find a home if I sell? So she sent out a BombBomb video. There's a video email that she sent out. And she said, do you need to buy and sell at the same time? And one of the main reasons homeowners aren't selling is because they're not confident that they'll be able to find a suitable home with this limited inventory that they're in. So Connie opened up her calendar for those that are in the situation. She said, if this is you, let's talk about it. And she can provide there's a link down here to see at the very bottom. There's a Calendly link. So it's a scheduling service that she used so that people could book an appointment on it. So again, bringing value, addressing the hot topic of helping people get over that hump of wrapping their mind around, well, if I sell, where am I going to go? And then this is an example of an email that you can send out to your database. Again, the point of this email is twofold. One, it's not boring templated newsletter, with banana bread recipes, right? It's an offer to help anyone who's in these categories of planning. So just offering different categories and offering to be a resource. So this email got a 72% open rate. So I think that's much higher than what you see out there as far as the normal open rates. And the beautiful thing about BombBomb, if you're using BombBomb as a service, you can track who's opened your emails. You get a report on that. And so if you send out a mass email to your database or to your leads list, you can get at the end of that campaign, usually about 2 to 3 days later, they'll give you a report and see who's opened it the most, who's interacted with it, who's played the video, and then you can use that as your prospect or follow-up list. So I definitely recommend checking out BombBomb. Another great resource is Homebot. So how many of you are using Homebot right now? Love to see a show of hands on that, or unmute yourself and you can communicate with us that way. All right, well, if you're not familiar with Homebot, this is definitely a great service to check out. If you team up with a lender, then you can get it for basically about $25 a month. So it's, yep, Andrea had already talked about that. So her lender uses this. But this is probably one of the most successful, highest ROI tools that I use out of all the different tools that we have for marketing and for staying in touch with your database. So Homebot basically provides your consumer with an in-depth newsletter every single month that has data regarding their specific home, right? And it gives them information about what's going on in the market, how they can manage their equity, how much equity they have, and what's going on with their mortgage. And it's an incredibly powerful tool that you can use to generate seller leads. And so going through and I'll show you how to use this information. All right. This is an example of what the newsletter looks like. It goes out once a month to your past clients. It's branded with your information up here. And the first thing they see is basically the estimated value of their home. So what does everybody love to talk about? How much is my home worth? And so if they don't agree with that, they can click on these buttons that says, tune value, or they can click on instant offer, right? And so we'll go over that in a second, but it just shows you what's gone on with their market here in this graph. And then it shows them what's going on with their zip code. And then gives them the amount of equity that they have. And then it gives them some information about financing options or renting out. And so it's an incredible tool and has probably the highest open rate of any tool that we use. I think we get over 80 to 85% open rates on our emails every single month. Right. And then people can request a CMA. If they don't agree with the value, they can click on that and request a CMA. And it goes directly to you as the agent that sent them out this information. So it's a great way to follow up. And then from there, you can use that information to possibly generate a listing. And so the agents that are on here that are using this, and basically they send this out to their database every single month, they are consistently generating listings every single month from their past client database because of this tool. Then you can integrate Homebot into your CMA strategy to capture seller leads. So it gives you a landing page that you can use to publish in ads, or you can send out via social media. So, and that comes back and it'll generate, information so that they can put them into the database as well. So they'll start getting a Homebot Financial Digest. And the thing is, you don't just have to have past clients in here. Anybody that you come in contact with, you can use this as a lead magnet to get people into your database. And so that was a great tool to, talk about showing people what that newsletter looks like. And then people love to talk about their home. And it's obviously the largest financial asset that they have. And so people are using this to not only stay in touch with their past clients, but also use it as a lead magnet to put more and more people into the database. Then you can use this to create instant offers for sellers and integrate it with personal videos and more. So they can actually record a video on this, right? And what is the instant offer? It's just basically talking about what their market value could be if they decided to sell based on the current market, right? And then you can have a call to action on here saying, text me at the end of the video or grab a 15-minute slot on my calendar, and you can integrate your Calendly link for them to set up time on your calendar. So unbelievable tool to use. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. Another source for generating leads is obviously direct mail. It's not dead. So it can be very effective if it's done consistently, right? So direct mail is something that is the long-term play, and it has to be done consistently with this. If you couple that with circle prospecting, so you're hitting them with multiple phone calls, door knocking, and then targeted social media as well as direct mail, then that's something that will go well with your overall marketing strategy. There's an example here of Joanne. So she works with Keller Williams Capital Partners, right? She's ranked basically amongst the top 1% of agents in the United States. And her top lead strategies places a heavy emphasis on direct mail. And she couples that with email, social media, and her circle prospecting. So this is a good example of a postcard that's going out to homeowners, right? It showcases local market data, and then just showcases your local knowledge, and positions you as the local expert. Another example of postcard going out is just basically, here's an expired postcard. You want to be careful about expireds because I know that you can't bombard people with that, but there's something that you may be able to incorporate with that. And then there's the magic buyer letter email, right? So who are the buyers you're working with and who are qualified, and what areas do they want to buy in, okay? In the magic buyer letter or email, you send this letter to neighborhoods that you want to get listings in. You can also couple this with circle prospecting, and it talks about, the buyers that you have that are looking to buy in that specific area. And this isn't a new concept. I'm sure many of you have already familiar with this, but it's just something to repeat, where if you're consistent with this and you take the proactive approach to say, okay, my buyers want to buy in this specific tract, reach out and you can possibly even generate your own listings from that effort. And then we all know about open houses. Those are back, seeing those more and more now. And so we can use those to generate listings and generate information here from that. So that's not something that's new to everybody, but it's something that you want to keep in mind. All right, so in summary, what we talked about here are top ways to get listings in a low inventory market. One, past clients and sphere of influence. We talked about the 90-day CMA strategy, right? And this guy generated 72 CMAs, generated over $11 million in listings over a 90-day period, and closed $9 million. It resulted in $227,000 in gross commission income just from those efforts. So we talked about FSBOs, so for sale by owners. We talked about circle prospecting, social media strategies, the migration report with Redfin, helping that out. Homebot, I definitely recommend you take a look at Homebot if you're not already using it. Email strategies, direct mail strategies, and then open houses. So hopefully you came across one idea that you're going to take away from this that's of value to you. If you'd like to talk more about, strategies offline, I'm available for appointments. Love to sit down and chat more, and we'll go from there. And if anybody has any questions, we'll leave it open for a few seconds here. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate you guys' time.
Yes, I do have a question, Dave.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Sadiqa.
I never used Homebot. Is it a paid service? How is it? How does it work?
Yeah, so you can either go on and do it yourself as a real estate agent, or you can pair up with a lender and have a lender sponsor you. If the lender sponsors you, it's only $25 a month. If you pay for it yourself, it's going to be a lot more than that. And basically what it does is you upload your past client database, and it sends out that newsletter every single month, and it gives them information about their specific home. So everybody that is in your past either leads list or your past client list, it takes their information about their home and shows them how much equity they have, what their home potentially could be worth, and then some different strategies if they were thinking about either renting it out or refinancing, that type of thing.
And does it send it by email, or is it like a text to their phone number?
No, it sends it out via email. And the open rates on that are 80% or higher. So we're seeing a lot of, everybody's engaging with this every single month when we send this out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
So can you put them like in order of which one works the best? I always wondered that. I mean, which one has the best, I wouldn't say ROI, even because there are some we don't even spend money. So if you rank them, which one works the best nowadays?
I think the CMA strategy that we talked about, the 90-day CMA.
Yeah.
I think that was a very successful campaign that generated business very quickly for you. And then Homebot is another one. Right? And then your circle prospecting would be the third. I think those three things. And then with the circle prospecting, I think using that slide broadcast would definitely be something that you want to incorporate. So that way you're leveraging technology, so you don't have to make 1,200 phone calls yourself. You can send out 1,200 messages with a click of a button. So.
Oh, are you talking about slide dial?
Yeah, it's part of slide dial. So slide broadcast.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions out there for anybody?
Yes, hi, I have a question. And
Yes.
can we email or direct mail those people with their email address and their mailing address without any, not like a call?
Yeah, you can send out You can send out a cold email as long as you give them a way to opt out. So
Oh, opt out. I see. How about direct mail?
yeah, direct mail, yeah, you can send it out no matter what. Just,
Okay, there is no do not mail list.
yeah,
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome. All right, everybody, thanks for your time. We'll get this sent out to you guys. The recording is going to be available as well if you came in late. So hope you found value out of this, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.